guys!
Hey gals!
This week we wanted to talk a little bit about testing for HIV, why it's important to be tested, a little bit about our personal stories about when we were tested for HIV, and also some nuts and bolts about how testing for HIV works.
I was tested when I was a kid. I was born with hemophilia and I was using a lot of blood product treatments in the 1980s, so I was in a high-risk group. My parents knew I was in a high-risk group at that time, and so they wanted to get me tested. It's funny because they were about my age back then, and I think they were pretty nervous about what the results were going to be, and so they delayed me getting an official HIV test for a while. When they finally did, it came back positive. Since I was under my parents' care, I didn't know I was being tested, so I didn't have all that anxiety around testing. I was just told one day that I had HIV. So now I can look back and kind of see, like, that must have been so stressful for my parents to go through that. Gwen's going to explain what it was like for her to get tested.
The first time I was tested for HIV after Shawn and I had been together for a little while, I was a little bit nervous about it. I had been tested once before for HIV and the test was negative, and I knew that Shawn and I weren't doing anything in our relationship that would have put me at risk for HIV. I knew intellectually that I was not at risk for HIV and that the test would come back negative, but I definitely still had some anxiety about it. When I got tested and the test came back negative, it was a pretty big sigh of relief. And again, it wasn't because I thought we were doing anything to put me at risk, but it was just a reassurance that what we were doing was keeping me safe and we were doing the right things. I've been tested. I know my status.
Sweet. The first time Gwen got tested, how that worked for us is we went to the drugstore, we got an at-home HIV testing kit. So we could have gone into the health department. We had friends who actually worked in the health department and gotten Gwen tested there, but we kind of wanted to do it privately. We wanted to do the test at home and not have our friends worry.
I definitely understand what it's like to not really want to go get that test because you're a little bit anxious about what the result could be. And subsequently, I've been tested many times and I don't have nearly as much anxiety about it these days. There's a couple different ways that you could go get tested if you are interested in getting tested. We mentioned that I took an at-home HIV test, and at the time I needed to prick my finger and send in the blood sample. And by the way, I didn't necessarily love pricking my finger. That part wasn't so great. But nowadays, that test still exists. You can get an at-home HIV test that way. There's a new at-home HIV test, which is the OraQuick test. So you don't need to prick your finger to do that. And how you do that is you have a little, it's like a toothbrush type thing.
So you do a little swab in your mouth that goes, oh, they get way in there, but you do it, so it's not scary.
You actually get the results in 20 minutes at home. You don't even need to send anything in. So that's been a pretty cool thing. You can go to the drugstore and get that. You have two options for at-home HIV tests these days, and as Shawn mentioned, you can also go to your local health department to get tested. For HIV, they could either draw blood or they also have the mouth swab test. Your local AIDS service organization probably has testing, and if not, they could definitely refer you where to get an HIV test. And certainly your own doctor can test you for HIV as well.
If you feel worried and feel like you should be tested if you engage in risky behavior, please talk to your friends about it. Maybe have a friend there present if you do the at-home HIV test. Make sure you don't do that alone.
We actually had a friend recently who felt like he needed to be tested for HIV and purchased an at-home test and came to our house and did it. And yeah, I think it was really good for him and for us to all kind of be there together. And if you ever have a friend say something to you like, I'm thinking about getting tested for HIV or any other sexually transmitted infections, or I've kind of done some things that were risky, please, as the friend, also offer to go get tested with them or just go with them to be tested. I think that's one of the best things that you can do as a friend, is to just be there. So Shawn and I both think that it's very important to know your HIV status, to be tested. So we really encourage everyone to go get tested and know their HIV status for yourself and for your partners.
So check out the links below in the description of this video and we'll have some places you can go to get tested.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye. So Shawn and I both think that it's extreme.
Do that again, because I was doing something weird with my face.
Okay.
It was like drying my lips.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Saliva.
Oh no, don't.
Sweet stash.
Good. Well, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of an editing nightmare, but